Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy on this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. News in Saints land last night, or maybe outside of Saints land last night, as Andrus Peat, it was announced, has inked a free agent deal with the Las Vegas Raiders, which means his time in New Orleans is done. Now, the terms and conditions of that contract have not been made available or official to this point, so I can't speak to that side of it. But this is kind of two-pronged. One, what does it mean for the New Orleans Saints? And two, what about Andrus Peat's run in New Orleans? We'll start with that. The Saints used the 13th pick in the first round of the 2015 draft on Andrus Peat. And being that the draft is right in the rearview mirror, this current one here in 2024, you realize that when you pick in the first round, like, you're looking for a starter. You're looking for an impact guy. And you'd really love it if you got a star. But that doesn't always happen. You don't always get a starter. And when you draft Andrus Peat, he had all the makings of a star. He was a former 5-star recruit, one of the top tackles available coming out of high school. Got the pedigree of a dad who played in the NFL. He goes to Stanford, is a standout there, an All-American, plays there for 3 years, and moves on. And the Saints take him with the 13th pick. And I think if you ask most Saints fans, was the Andrus Peat's pick in the first round a success? I think the knee-jerk reaction would be, no. Took him as a left tackle. He couldn't play left tackle. Guy didn't play all that well, and that's, I think most fans probably feel that way. But if you just step back and kind of remove emotion from the entire deal, you got a guy who played in 111 games, had 102 starts, and 3 Pro Bowls over 9 seasons. I know Pro Bowls are not what they once were. Everybody opts out. You got alternates. It's not necessarily the highest honor in the sport anymore. But if you tell me that you're going to take a player in the first round and you're going to get 9 seasons out of that player and 102 starts, that's pretty good. Now, you thought he was going to be your left tackle, and it turns out he spent the vast majority of his time in New Orleans as the left guard. But hey, you need a left guard, and he was a serviceable player. I think this, while not a slam dunk, not a guy who's going to the Saints Ring of Honor, not a guy who was a contributor on a championship team, was a solid contributor for you as a first-round selection. In this past year, when nobody could hold down the left tackle spot and it was a revolving door and you were signing guys who were out of the league to try to come in and give you some sort of help on the offensive line, you tapped Andrus Peat on the shoulder and said, hey, man, go play left tackle. And he wasn't the first team All-Pro. He wasn't a Pro Bowler. But he was serviceable and was part of that offensive line over the back half of the season, solidifying to a point where the Saints offense found something. The Saints offense found basically nothing in September and October. They found something around Thanksgiving and were a better team, and Andrus Peat was a big part of that. And we have talked about this Saints offensive line ad nauseum over the last 2 months. We have had people come on and talk about the Saints offensive line, and basically the consensus, whether it was Sean Fazan, Sharif Ishak, Luke Johnson, whoever we've talked about from a Saints perspective, has basically said, you know, they need to sign Andrus Peat back. And while exercising an option on a rookie first rounder for a 5th year is your prerogative and your ability to do so, and the team's right, once you become a free agent, like, it's not that easy anymore. And Andrus Peat was going to have other suitors. And so if this is a 1-year prove-it deal with the Raiders for, I use air quotes here, an insignificant amount of money, then I think it was probably a mistake for the Saints not to jump in and make that happen. But if this is a 3-year deal, what have we talked about? I'm not really all that interested. You'll figure it out in 2024. You'll figure it out up front. You're not going to be a great team. And I'm not going to saddle the 2025 and 2026 Saints with an aging Andrus Peat, and certainly not a guy that I'm going to find a way to dump extra money on as the contract moves along. Nope, not interested. Thanks. So what does that leave for New Orleans? Well, here's what you know about your offensive line. Eric McCoy is going to start at center, and Cesar Ruiz is going to start at right guard. And Taliesin Fuaga is very likely going to be a starter. If he's not, we've got another issue on our hands with an early draft pick. Those three guys are going to play and start. Whether Fuaga is at right tackle or left tackle remains to be seen. Those three guys, I feel like as we sit here in May, are in. You've got to find two other starters from this group of people. Ryan Ramczyk. The prevailing thought, the trending wisdom here is that maybe not this year, maybe not ever. But he's one guy. Trevor Penning. If you're sitting here going, well, Trevor Penning's now the left tackle, I would disagree. I'm not saying he can't be the left tackle. I'm not ready to just bestow that upon him because Andrus Peat's in Vegas. Work him out in OTAs. Get him reps in training camp. But I'm not telling you that that's locked in. Maybe he's the left guard, and that'd be okay. We just talked about that with Andrus Peat. You can tell me that Trevor Penning for the next 6 years is going to be your left guard and a solid one. We'll work with that. But he's in this group. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this name adequately, but we'll try. Ali Semika. Doesn't matter. Sorry, butchered the name. But you've signed him in free agency. Justin Herron, same deal. Those two guys are in this group of 5 players that need to fill 2 spots. And then you got Nick Saldiveri, who you drafted in the middle rounds last year. You've got Landon Young, who you've had that's played a little bit here and there, especially in the absence of Ryan Ramczyk. And then you've got Josiah Ziram, who you took in the late rounds this year. That's kind of the group you have to work with right now. So some form or fashion, that group needs to become your first-team offensive line. If it's Ryan Ramczyk at right tackle and Taliesin Fuaga at left tackle, and then Penning or Herring or Saldiveri playing left guard, okay. If Taliesin Fuaga is your right tackle because Ramczyk can't play, and you need to go sign a free agent or have Trevor Penning play left tackle, okay. Maybe Ali Semeka can help you with that as well. He's played tackle in his time. If you need to go find David Bakhtiari, okay. 1-year deal, fine. It's not a group that is going to inspire a lot of confidence, but it goes back to the same thing I've said over and over and over again. Put the patches on it for a year. It's a patchwork team. That's not going to make Dennis Allen happy. That's not going to make Derek Carr happy. It's probably not going to make Alvin Kamara very happy. It is what it is. I'm assuming when this comes out that Andrus Peat's going to have signed a 2 or 3 year deal. And while I don't think that would have been some sort of death knell to the Saints organization over the next 3 years, again, it's money that you can free up and use elsewhere. It's the first time the Saints may create some breathing room in their financial situation in 15 years. Again, Andrus Peat's not going to sign some massive deal, but every little bit helps while you try to hit this soft reset, and it is what it is. So again, it's not the most inspiring group in the world to tell you Taliesin Fuaga, Cesar Ruiz, Eric McCoy, Ali Asameka, and Landon Young are your offensive line with Trevor Penning. Who knows? But I could also paint a picture where it does look okay. I can paint a picture where Ryan Ramczyk is ready to go at right tackle, and Cesar Ruiz is ready to go at right guard, and Eric McCoy is your center, and then you got your 2 former first-round picks on the left side in Fuaga and Trevor Penning. And maybe that group blossoms and becomes a solid offensive line. It's not ideal, and I think there was a portion of us that thought that Andrus Peat would be back and they'd find a way to make him play the left tackle and kind of patch that hole, but he's moving on. So you got to find another way. And it'll be without Andrus Peat, who will move on to the Raiders. If you're looking for our Saints content, you can always find it. Hunt on Saints on YouTube. Like, subscribe, rate, review. All those subscriptions have helped us out a ton over the last year. Easy to get your Saints content in these digestible 10-minute segments. And if you subscribe to the channel, it'll show up right there on your homepage when you log into YouTube. So we certainly do appreciate that. Our Tuesday shows are brought to you by Pluckers. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, Help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.